Most of us, we have a lot of differences. We have differences at home between husband and wife. Sometimes for a very simple issue, we create problems and we are not able to understand each other and accept each other. There's a lot of problems also, sometimes even between the brothers. Brother and another brother, they have different opinions and they are not willing to accept each other. And then they may create a fight just because of that, subhanAllah. If we look also like back home, I would say Morocco, back home in Pakistan or India, sometimes we find some masajid of Shias and masajid of Sunnah, and then a big fight sometimes will be picked up for a small reason. And then some people will be killed, some victims. And then we'll put the question, who did that? And then we say, oh, he is a Shi'i, he is a Sunni, he is a this and he is a that and he is that. And we don't really think about something very important, why actually we are creating these problems. Why we are killing each other. Can we accept each other sometimes and live in the same place? You don't have to be like me. Because we cannot be all of us the same. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us in different ways. He created man and woman. And He did not create only man. He created us also in different colors. Some are white, some are black, some are red, some in different colors. And He did not create all of us the same color and the same way. Just look at yourself and your children. Your children, they don't look like you all the time. Sometimes there are some, but they are different. Imagine if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He created all of us with the same face. It's going to look a little bit very strange for us. Even subhanAllah, our houses looks different. Even when we travel, say, let's change this environment. I want to go to some other place. There are some differences. There are a lot of differences. And do we have actually the understanding to accept those differences between all of us? Again, I'm saying you don't have to melt in the other one and become a copy of the other person, because that's not good actually. No, it's not. Every single person is supposed to have his own personality, his own identity. But at the same time, you will be able to accept the other person, to sit with him and talk to him and accept something that he says that he may like it and he may not even like it, subhanAllah. Looks like we are missing something very important, is to sit and talk to each other and have a dialogue between each other. Between husband and wife, like I'm saying. Between brother and sister, like I'm saying. Between someone who's older and someone who is younger. And especially the youth people that I see them over here. Do you know, subhanAllah, that one of the major problems why some children, they go outside and then probably they are taking drugs. Why are they doing that actually? They feel probably that it's boring at home. There is no conversation at home. There's no dialogue at home. There's no one to understand me at home. There's no one to accept me at home. My father is so tough. He just wanted his way. If it's not his way, then it's no way. It's just the highway. And then he runs away and he wants to try something completely different. We're not creating any space, any room, any atmosphere for each other, just to listen to each other. Just one thing, the number one, and I insist, number one, to find any solution for anything or to cure any disease is to listen to each other. When you have a problem, you go to the doctor does not start by diagnosing you first. No, but he starts by listening to you. He will ask you this question, what do you have? How do you feel? And he will listen to you. He knows that you're not a doctor and you don't know that much, but first he will listen to you. Even actually Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he taught us this, listening to each other. The very famous incident that one time, subhanAllah, one actually of the kuffar, Al-Walid ibn al-Mughira, he came to him and he said to him, I want to speak to you, I want to talk to you. He said, yes, قُلْ يَا عَمْ أَسْمَعْ. Okay, you can talk, my uncle, I will listen to you. He did not actually tell him, you are a kafir, so I'm not going to listen to you. You are an idol worshipper, and I am the prophet, the messenger, the best of all. You get to listen, and I get to say. But he said, قُلْ أَسْمَعْ. Yeah, go ahead, talk. And he was listening and listening and listening to him, and he did not actually at all stop him or interrupt him. He was saying all what he said. He said to him that you came and you create differences between us, between father and son, between husband and wife. And if you want the money, we'll give you the money. If you want to be the king, we'll make you the king. If you want to get married to the best one, we will give it to you. Well, after he finished, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said to him, هل انتهيت? Did you finish? Oh, my uncle, again, that word of respect. Sometimes we don't have that word of respect for each other, even father to son or son to father, mother and daughter, and so on and so on. We just like, we hate everybody. It's even when you ask someone to say something, you say, okay, go ahead. But you're not listening to him actually. You're just waiting for that person to finish so you can say what you want to say. You don't care about what the other people are saying. You don't see them that they may have some truth in what they are saying, but you believe that you are the only one who has the truth. And everybody doesn't have. You are the only one who knows everything, but the other people don't understand and don't know anything, subhanAllah. Rasulullah, after he finished, he said to him, okay, can I tell you something? Can you also listen to me in this adab? Then he started reciting for him Surah Al-Sajdah or Surah Fussilat. And that man was so amazed. I don't want to go for that story, but I'm going back again, subhanAllah. Do you know that sometimes two people, both of them they may have the truth, and both of them, their opinion may be accepted. And we don't have to fight. You know, the incident of, subhanAllah, again of the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, just to understand this part. After the Ghazwa of Ahzab, once the Ghazwa of the Ahzab finished, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam went to his house and he wants to take off his clothes, the clothes of the battlefield, the shield and everything. So angel Jibreel alayhi salam came to him and he said to him, if he wants to take it off, no, not yet. The angels did not finish yet. So right now you got to go where? To Banu Qurayda. You got to go to Banu Qurayda, these people who deceived the Muslims and betrayed them. You got to go right now. It's an order from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam came out and then he called the Muslims and he said to them, a very famous saying, من كان يؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر فلا يصلين اليوم العصر إلا في بني قريدة. Anyone who believes in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the day of judgment, he should offer his Asr prayer today at Banu Qurayda. They used to live in the suburb of Medina. So of course some people had to walk, some they were ride, some they were exhausted and tired. It was like months of this battle of Ahzab, that Muslims, they were surrounded and all that. But of course people have to go. It was just after the Dhuhr prayer. So people, they were going. But in the middle of their ways to Banu Qurayda, what happened? It was Salah time, Salatul Asr. It is time for Salatul Asr. So the Sahaba has a small discussion, right? It is time for Salatul Asr. What should we do now? Offer the Salat right now in this place, or we should wait until we go to Banu Qurayda, according to what Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said. So they have this issue. Now you see, there is some kind of dialogue. You will talk to each other. What should we do? Some of them, they said, look, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran mentioned and he said, إِنَّ الصَّلَاةَ كَانَتْ عَلَى الْمُؤْمِنِينَ كِتَابًا مَوْقُوتًا. Salat has to be on the proper time. And this is time for the Salat. And Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam did not tell us that in a way that we should postpone our prayer, but just for us to rush, right? We shouldn't be lazy, so we have to rush to go to Banu Qurayda. Some of them, they said, no. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam told us, whoever believe in this and that, he should offer his salat of Asr at Banu Qurayda. I am not going to listen to your interpretation, but I will wait and I will offer my Asr prayer at Banu Qurayda, even if I reach Banu Qurayda at Isha's time. We have two opinions. And the Sahaba did not fight each other, did not curse each other, did not say you don't know anything, did not say that you do and this and that. Some of them, they offered their prayers, and some of them, they hold on, and then they waited until they got to Banu Qurayda, and they asked Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And this is the adab, this is the thing. Rasulullah, he agreed with both of them that innahum ala haqq. The scholars actually talk a lot about this. Even some scholars like Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah, he said, if I was there, I would not offer my Asr prayer and I will wait until Banu Qurayda, because I would just follow the words, the literally word of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But that was one opinion. What I want to say, that there is room to understand each other. It's not always it's black or white. There are some other colors. And I'm not saying you get to follow that person, whatever he says, but you got to listen to him sometimes. He may be right and you may be wrong. It's not all the time you are completely 100% right. The only person that lived on earth that he did not make the mistakes is Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Why? Because he was supported by the wahy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In huwa illa wahyun yuha. Whatever he says, it was a wahy from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, what we want, the basic of this, let's say those talk that we will have inshallah, is just to learn how to accept each other and to live with each other. We will see that from the examples of these 4 Imams. For each one of them. How, for example, the first one and the second one and the third one, they were actually students for each other. And they accept each other. And they love each other. And they respected each other. Why the first Imam did not say, I am the Imam and nobody else? I came first. I know better than anybody else. Why his own students, they were following him, and sometimes they have differences with him. Subhanallah. Like we promised, we're not going to make it too long, probably half an hour every session, and we'll open probably for questions and answer if you have any of the questions, inshallah. First thing that I would like to say to you about those Imams, the 4 Imams, you are going to realize that there are some differences between all 4 of them. 2 of them, they were pure Arab. And 2 of them, they were not Arab. So if I tell you the names, Abu Hanifah, wa Malik, wa Shafi'i, wa Ahmed. 2 of them were Arabs. Who are they? Imam al-Shafi'i, rahimahullah, he was a pure Arabi. He was Qurayshi. Actually, he has some connection from the lineage to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's one. Number 2, Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal. He was from a qabila called Banu Shayban, and it's also a pure Arab. The 2 other Imams, which is Imam Malik rahimahullah and Imam Abu Hanifa al-Nu'man rahimahullah, they were not from Arab. Imam Abu Hanifa, his father was Farisi. And Imam Malik, he was actually from the Mawali. Mawali means the servants from Yemen. They came as a servant, as slaves if you want, and you were sold, and then they start following their masters. So you have these 2 differences. You know what? Even in colors, we're going to find something. But by the way, all of them, they were somehow very tall. But all 4 of them, 2 of them, they were very white, and 2 of them, they were a little bit dark skin. It's not that white. Imam Malik, subhanAllah, he was very white, and his eyes, they were also even blue eyes. So there is some differences, subhanAllah, that you will see. Even 2 of them lived, actually all 4 of them, they lived in the big cities. None of them was living in a small city. But 2 of them, actually, they lived in Iraq, Baghdad, if you want. And 2 of them, they lived in Medina or Mecca, subhanAllah. We will realize that, subhanAllah. Now, when we go for this, we see that there are differences among these 4 Imams. But we will see something that is combining all of them. Imam Abu Hanifa and Imam Malik, they lived almost on the same time. With Imam Abu Hanifa came a little bit earlier than Imam Malik. But they were mu'asirin for each other. Now we will realize something. Imam al-Shafi'i, he was a student of Imam Malik. And he was a student of the students of Imam Abu Hanifa also. Muhammad ibn al-Hasan. And Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal, he was also a student of Imam Shafi'i. So there's a connection with all of them. Subhanallah. And he was also a student of one of the students of Imam Abu Hanifa also. So they were listening, they were learning from each other. They were not fighting each other. All of them coming from this way, subhanallah. Probably today, let me also tell you something very important. The whole Sharia, the whole deen is based on one very important thing, besides of course the Tawheed of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But one is very important, is to create love and harmony between the people, to bring them together. Al-Qadi Iyad rahimahullah, one of the big scholars of the Malikis, he said, subhanallah, very important word, Al-ulfatu ihda fara'id al-islami wa arkan al-sharia. Ulfa, to create love between each other, to love each other. It is one of the pillars of the Islam, and the Islam is based on that. And he gives some very beautiful examples. He said, look at the fara'id actually of the deen. The salat itself. Salatul jama'ah, better than salat if you pray by yourself. ب25 درجة. So Islam wants you to come to the masjid and pray with each other, and then you connect with each other. Sometimes you pray behind someone and you push it, he doesn't want you to touch him. And the feet also, say you join your feet. Looks like he wants you to feel the brotherhood between each other. That's one part. So he wants you to pray all together. SubhanAllah. You see this even about the salat is in that way. Even Hajj, one of the greatest pillars, you say the Hajj is supposed to be in a certain time, in a certain period, in a certain place, that all of you will be together. Even the zakat, it is taken from someone and given to the other person, which is create love between each other. Even sadaqah is the same way. Do you see now any part of the fara'id or any rukn of the arkan? It is actually to build this brotherhood and sisterhood between the people. Do we realize that? Do you realize that even the hadith talks about this a lot? A lot. Rasulullah always used to speak about this, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. That the best among you is the best for each other. Always. So the basic of the deen is this. So anyone who's calling for something to deviate the people from this, or to isolate the people from this, he is not really understanding the spirit of the Islam, that trying to bring all the Muslims together, all the people together, subhanAllah. The Quran mentioned that about Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, لو أنفقت ما في الأرض جميعا ما ألفت بين قلوبهم ولكن الله ألف بين قلوبهم. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, telling him, reminding him one of the biggest ni'mah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave to Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, saying to him, لو أنفقت ما في الأرض جميعا. If you spend, let's say you own the whole world, the whole money, the whole dollars of the whole world, you spend it just to bring the people together, you cannot do it. But Allah said, وَلَكِنَّ اللَّهَ أَلَّفَ بَيْنَ قُلُوبِهِمْ. He is the one who brought the heart of the Muhajirin and the Ansar, and the Aus and the Khazraj, and make a brotherhood between Bilal ibn Rabah al-Habashi, wa subhanallah, Suhayb al-Rumi, wa Salman al-Farisi, subhanallah, wa Hamza al-Qurayshi, radiallahu. All of them becomes brothers because of the basic of this deen. Again, why we have all those differences, and we ask, which one should I follow? This one said this one said, you are confusing me. And you don't even understand that these people actually, they love each other, not the way that we are looking at them. It's completely different. I'm just going to take 5 more minutes today. So, because I took a little bit more time for just this introduction, in order to talk about this matter, and the purpose of those classes, inshallah. I will start with Imam Abu Hanifah, rahimahullah. Imam Abu Hanifah, his name is Al-Nu'man ibn Thabit Al-Marzuban, or Al-Murzuban. And the word Murzuban is not an Arabic word, it's a Farisi word. We know that from that, subhanAllah. He actually coming from a place, probably the area of Afghanistan and Iran. That place. Before it used to be called Bilad Faris. The Bilad, the country of Faris, if you want, subhanAllah. So his grandfather were not actually Arabs, but they accepted Islam. But Imam Abu Hanifah was the very first Imam with this title that I'm saying. It doesn't mean that there was no Imams before. His teacher was an Imam, Hamad for example, and some others, Imam al-Zuhri, Imam, and all those names. But Imam Abu Hanifah will be the very first person who will create something called fiqh, which is we will understand what is fiqh exactly. Fiqh is to understand the deen, to understand the nusus, to understand the script of the Quran and the Sunnah, and then you are able to bring the ahkam from that, subhanAllah. Imam Abu Hanifa was a very rich man. And we will realize also this ikhtilaf, these differences among these ai''imah. Two of them, they were very rich, and two of them, they were very poor, subhanAllah. But they were all imams, subhanAllah. Now, some of the scholars said, it is actually, or it should, every single Muslim, and look at this one, very important. Every single Muslim should make dua for Imam Abu Hanifa after every prayer of his prayer. Like me and you and all of us, after every prayer you should make dua for Imam Abu Hanifa. Because he is the one who started this, what we call fiqh, and the understanding of fiqh. And actually who said this is not a Hanafi or Maliki or Shafi'i. No, it's not in that. The scholars, a jumhur, a group of scholars from different madahib, they said this. They say Imam Abu Hanifa started this. So he should get some of your dua after every single prayer. That's, subhanAllah, how they used to look at Imam Abu Hanifa. And sometimes we realize that some of us, or some students of knowledge, or no knowledge at all, probably you read a book or half a book, or just a hadith and say, Imam Abu Hanifa doesn't know anything. He said this and then the hadith says something else. And he does not even understand why Imam Abu Hanifa, he wrote that, or he has a different opinion. And he doesn't know, subhanAllah, how much Abu Hanifa he knows about the hadith, about the Quran, about the fiqh, and how much he studied, subhanAllah. How much he studied. He was a student for just one single of his teacher for almost 18 years. And then a person comes and says, Imam Abu Hanifa doesn't know anything. Subhanallah. He doesn't know about this, he doesn't know about that. Anyway, Imam Abu Hanifa also realized that the madhab of Imam Abu Hanifa was spread out in a huge big area, especially in the east and the subcontinent, subhanallah. In India, in Pakistan, in Bangladesh, and then in the east also in Lebanon, in Syria, in Iraq, in Misr, some of it, subhanallah. Can you imagine this huge big number of the Muslims, and all of them are following the madhab of Imam Abu Hanifa? Should be something special about Imam Abu Hanifa that these billions, and I will say billions, not millions, because if you're going to study from the time of Imam Abu Hanifa up to now, how many millions? Probably billions of the people that they follow this madhab of Abu Hanifa. So there is some flexibility in this madhab. There is some understanding in this madhab. There is something amazing about this madhab that will attract the people to follow this madhab. It was not just like that. You may say, because my father was Hanafi, so I am also. No, it's not. There is much more than that. And it's not only about me and you. Imagine, there are actually generation and generation and generations of scholars and scholars and scholars in different places, and they follow the madhab of Abu Hanifa. We should think about this, subhanAllah. But one thing also very important, the Arab, they were very well known with their asabiyah. How do you say asabiyah? Ta'assub. That's what you have in Urdu? Okay. So each one of them, he will say, I am not going to follow the other one, I will follow my city, right? Or my town, or my family. So the Arab, they have that. And that's why before Islam, nobody was able to control them or to govern them. They used to live in tribes. Qabila and Qabila and Qabila. They don't even be one whole, country. You will find the Quraysh by themselves, and the Ta'if by themselves, and the Najdi by themselves, and subhanallah, Shaybani by themselves, and so on and so on. And they have this izzah of Arab, that I am an Arab. And then some of them, they want to go to very, very high, very stubborn. Then how those Arab, that they have that, they accepted a person who is not even a Arabi to become their own Imam? Think about it. Sometimes in our masajid back home, we don't accept it. If that person does not belong to my family or my this and that, or I am not going to follow him. So how the big scholars of the Arab, and the tabi'een, which is where probably the children of Sahaba or Abna'u Sahaba, they accepted Imam Abu Hanifa to be the Imam, to be the big faqih, and to listen to him, and to sit in his majlis, and to listen and study. Looks like there was something very attractive about this man, or about his madhab actually, or the understanding of the people before us was completely different than our understanding, subhanAllah. To explain to you about this asabiyya of the Arab, and I will finish with this, subhanAllah, show you how the people at that time, they used to look at that. There was a qadi, his name Ibn Abi Layla, and this man is very famous, especially in ulum al-hadith. And he was sitting actually with the wali, the governor of Kufa. Kufa is in Iraq. His name is Isa ibn Hisham. And he was an Arabi, but he was muta'assib. He has the ta'assub, the asabiyya. And actually he asked, subhanallah, Ibn Abi Layla, and he asked him about the fuqaha of Islam, the faqihs at that time, in the Muslims' land. So he said to him, subhanallah, man faqihu ahli al-Madina, the Medina, Madinatul Munawwara, the city of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So he said to him, Nafi' Mawla ibn Umar. Nafi', he was a mawla, he was a servant, he was a khadim, if you want. Of who? Of Ibn Umar, Abdullah ibn Umar. So he said, the faqih of the whole Medina, that the people that they listen to and they obey, right? He is actually from the Mawali. That's how they used to look at it, not from the Arab. فقال فمن فقيه أهل مكة. So is the faqih of the people of Mecca, subhanallah. قال عطاء بن رابح or بن رباح. He is also from the Mawali, not from the Arab. Subhanallah. And this is just probably less than 100 years after Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. فقال أمولى أم عربي? He is from مولى أو عربي? قال مولى. قال من فقيه أهل اليمن? So is the faqih of the people of Yemen. قال طاووس ابن كيسان. طاووس ابن كيسان also from. قال أمولى أم عربي? قال من الموالي. قال فمن فقيه أهل اليمامة? Who is the faqih of the people of Yamama? قال يحيى ابن أبي كثير. قال مولى أم عربي؟ قال مولى. And the governor is getting upset, and you could see that in his eyes, subhanallah. قال فمن فقيه أهل الشام, people of Syria. قال مكحول. قال مولى أم عربي؟ قال مولى. He really wants to upset this governor at that time. قال فمن فقيه أهل الجزيرة, سبحان الله. قال ميمون بن مهران. قال مولى أم عربي؟ قال مولى. Anywhere you go, the fuqaha, the leaders of fiqh are not Arab, subhanallah. يقول ابن أبي ليلى, whenever I say anything to him, and I tell him, he asks me, أمولى أم عربي? And I say, مولى, احمر وجهه من الغضب. His face becomes so red out of anger. ويزداد غضبا, and his anger was increasing and increasing. حتى قال, فمن فقيه أهل البصرة? Who is the faqih of أهل البصرة? قال الحسن البصري ومحمد بن سيرين. قال مولى أم عربي؟ قال موليان, both of them. Subhanallah. قال فرأيت الشر في وجهه. I saw the evil on his face because of the anger, subhanallah. فسألني فمن فقيه أهل الكوفة? Who is the faqih of the people of the Kufa, which is he was in. فكدت أن أقول حماد. I was about to tell him Hamad, which is the teacher of Imam Abu Hanifa. وهو مولى also. ولكني خفت شره. So he said, I was afraid that he may do something bad to me. فظللت أبحث. I was thinking عن عربي, about some Arabi. فقلت إبراهيم النخعي. So he said إبراهيم النخعي. قال مولى أم عربي؟ قلت عربي. قال الله أكبر. Now, what I want to say with this little story that I'm closing with, in such environment, in such a place, the people accepted Abu Hanifa to be the Imam, and to be the Faqih, and to be the Imam al-A'zam. So what Abu Hanifa has, what the flexibility of the madhab has, how he was able to earn the heart of the people, how he was able to bring the people all together to him. Although we realize in that time, it was the hukum of Umayyas in the beginning. And the Umayyas, they were so, what we call Arab. What I mean by Arab, they will just neglect, take away, not respect anyone who is not Arab, which is one of the big mistakes of the Umayyad. That was a reason for their actually big empire to fall down, subhanAllah. Now, I will close with this. It's just an introduction to tell you what we will be, inshallah, taking in this class, inshallah. Astaghfirullah lakum jami'al mu'minin. If you have any questions, we'll take only 5-10 minutes for that. Otherwise, we'll make it dua. Especially for young people. What do you think? Don't be scared.
Next time we'll come prepared.
Okay, that's a very good one. If you want to do it, inshallah, next time, why don't you go? Just read a little bit about Abu Hanifa. And yes.
Are we gonna have this every Tuesday and Thursday?
Every Wednesday. Every Wednesday. Every Tuesday and every Thursday, there's a class of fiqh to learn how to do salat and wudu and all that. And Mufti Hafizur Rahman is taking care of that, inshallah. That's in Urdu, and this is in Arabic, inshallah. Okay, so thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.